And welcome back to News Desk. Thank you very much for staying with us. Now, like I mentioned earlier in the bulletin, the National Transport and Safety Authority, in conjunction with Equality Now, have launched a campaign aimed at raising awareness and speaking out against gender-based violence and assault in all public transport units here in the country. Let's just listen into part of that launch that happened in the morning, and then we come back here in studio to have a conversation around that. All right, so we'll be having the bites later, but it's okay because I have Patricia Mira here, who's the board member of... okay, we have now the story. All right, but anyway, Patricia Mira, thank you very much for joining us. She is a board member at Equality Now. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
All right,
thank you.
So we'll be having the bites. It's very important that we put this into perspective, and just hearing Anita Nderu speak earlier kind of like gives you chills down the spine, just to imagine that somebody would reach out to her breast and touch, and
just out of nowhere,
just like that,
just somebody comes
like
and puts his hand on your breast. And it's like, excuse me, what do you think you're doing?
Yeah.
And then on top of that, nobody actually speaking out. Even the conductor.
Yeah.
So
everybody just turns a blind eye.
Everyone turns a blind eye.
Yeah.
Everyone's scared. I don't know what's going on through, in people's minds, but nothing is being done.
Yeah.
So this is a first step towards changing the culture around, PSVs or traveling in PSVs.
Yeah. But talking about culture, I'm still very disturbed that nobody can speak out. I'm sure you, in that matatu, you had other women. I'm sure you had maybe even older men than the one who did that to her. There's, of course, the driver, there's the conductor, who are supposed to be professional, but obviously that is always in question. But nobody said anything.
But you see, we're human beings. We should know better. Surely we know what's right and wrong. We didn't go to school and be told, just go and touch some woman's breast.
Yeah.
There's right and wrong. And you... there's that saying, common sense isn't so common. But and there's an element of that, I think.
Yeah.
But how do we begin to consciously change the culture around it? This is what this is about.
Right.
The attitudinal changes, the changing the narrative rather than just focusing on, the survivor of these sexual attacks. Let's look at the perpetrators. What's happened to them? I mean, I don't know whether you remember, we'll go back, let's say it was 2013, the Justice for Liz case. Absolutely horrific.
Yeah, horrific.
She's gang raped, and then she ends up with spinal injuries, fistula, severe internal injuries, the unwanted attention, the trauma that she had to also, go through. And then the guys who had done this, the perpetrators, were told to cut grass as punishment. And so you start asking yourself, if the people, the institutions that have the power to be able to change something, for justice to be done, are not, going to turn a blind eye and they're going to be blasé about this. So I know eventually, I mean, organizations like Equality Now got into the mix, began to campaign and began to advocate for Liz.
Right.
Eventually, I think they got like 15 years each at the time.
Yeah.
And then since 2013, it just seems to be escalating. More and more stories being heard. And then, of course, then there was the My Dress, My Choice campaign.
The lady who was stripped in town.
Exactly.
Yeah,
she was stripped.
It's sort of like the perpetrators are becoming more bold.
Yes.
For some street. All right. So
well, they'll become bold because we're not doing anything about it. We're not speaking out about it.
Yeah.
So this is just to remind people that, hey, by the way, we can and should. Aren't we talking about safer societies? Isn't that one of the things that we all hope for?
True.
So this is a step towards that.
Let's talk about how NTSC came together with Equality Now. I must say that it's such an interesting combination, but it's with the people, some of the biggest stakeholders, when it comes to this issue. So at what point did you decide, okay, we're roping in NTSC, or was it vice versa? NTSC said, okay, Equality Now, can we do something?
It's absolutely brilliant that this is happening for a start because it's NTSA. Yeah. But no, Equality Now and its end partners approached the NTSA. They were completely open. Mr. Harrod was just completely open to this. I was having a chat with him earlier, and I found out that he was ex-DOD. He had done conflicts resolution, so his heart was already open to this, to addressing these issues. So it's just come together seamlessly. And what it is that would actually as much as we've started this campaign today, and of course, we were at the Ambassador Sako this morning. Hectic. I mean, it's like the heartbeat of a city when you're around matatus and all the movement around it. But
it's crazy.
So we were starting off this campaign where we were placing these. Placing these. Which camera?
Yeah, just there.
Placing these on matatus. And of course, the NTSA have been incredible in terms of talking to conductors, the general public, matatu owners. Let's try and change the way people behave when they're in matatus. If you see something that's wrong, speak out. Stop a person. If you see a woman that's hurt or she's crying, like Anita Nderu, she was there in tears. She didn't know what to do.
She was there. She didn't know what to do,
Nobody helped her. So it speaks a little bit again about our humanity. And keeping that in check.
So what exactly is this initiative supposed to do?
So it's about eventually setting up a gender desk. At this point in time, there is nowhere that you can call that will be able to separate the sexual harassment cases from just general complaints. So there's no data. And if you don't have the data, you can't plan the future interventions, map them out and know exactly what needs to be done. So apart from just raising awareness, it's about setting up this a gender desk where you can call if you've been attacked, if you see an attack happening, so at least you can start compiling all this data.
And this desk is with the NTSA?
With NTSA.
Okay.
With trained personnel. Equality Now is going to is going to be training personnel, whether it's psychology or whether it's legal advice, whatever it is that the caller might need. But then you have help at hand. You don't go away feeling helpless and there's, nobody can help you and you feel dejected and
silence.
In silence. And this has been happening. And this is not new. We've been seeing it happening across the globe. More and more people speaking out about these things. And it's crucial that it happens here too, Right. And Equality Now is a worldwide organization. So, yes, we're going to get involved and we go to the places where these incidents are being reported and more are being reported in matatus, and this is the point. So that's why this partnership had to happen.
And talking about it, it seems a bit complex because it's not even about the desk only, because if I'm a victim, I will be able to call, hopefully I'll get help from, whoever is on the other side of the phone and even the police, hopefully. But also it goes back to what we're talking about the culture change and the mindset of people, but then how do you change that?
Exactly.
There's no desk for that.
There's no desk for that.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we thought would be a good thing, because everyone's got a story to tell. Why did we start this my matatu, sorry, what is it? My matatu story.
Yeah, my matatu story,
Hashtag my matatu
so that's
story.
on social media across all.
So this will be on social media, but also on Facebook or whatever. But encourage people to speak about whatever experiences they may have. Now, I haven't had that kind of experience, but I've had a crazy experience in a matatu in the past. But still, speaking about these experiences, perhaps it will create a culture of not keeping things hidden and being silent about it. People should learn to talk about whatever's going on with them in their lives. Life can be tough. And we all get caught up in whatever it is that we need to do to be able to survive. So whatever's happening to the neighbor, you're just like, you're niyake. But it could easily happen to you.
To you or
it
somebody
could easily
you love,
happen to somebody you love. And then what? You'll be looking around for help. What do you do then? So let's set up these types of, spaces, safe spaces, where whether it's men, women, girls, it doesn't matter. You can call in and get the advice and the help that you do need.
All right.
So yes, talking about it, I think, is crucial. I mean, we're here, and thank you so much for giving, giving us, the time to highlight this, because the media's got a part to play in that as well.
Definitely.
To us to be able to keep talking, whether it's on social media, whether it's going to be in the newspaper, whether it's you're standing at the kiosk. Talk about it.
Talk about it.
This happened to me, or
or somebody that I know. Share. All right, so we'll get back to the conversation, but we need to take a short commercial break right now. We're coming back to continue with News Desk. To remember that we also have sports and news from the international scene coming up shortly. Don't go away.
This is KTN News.